Life is not a spectator sport. If you're going to spend your whole life in the grandstand, just watching what goes on, in my opinion, you're wasting your life. Jackie Robinson. My name is Mackenzie Williams, and this is my topic. Now, for the duration of my speech, I'd like everyone in here to imagine life as a race. There are only two types of people who attend this race: those who are running it, and the spectators. Those who are challenging themselves, pushing on to greatness, and the ones who are wishing they had the guts. The ones who are accomplishing their dreams, and the ones who are sitting on the bleachers too afraid to chase their own. So let me ask you something. Which one are you? Because life is a race, and if you're sitting on the bench, it's not the competition that's keeping you glued to that seat. The greatest hurdle you will ever face in this winding, obstacle-filled course called life is silencing the fear that is screaming at you to quit. Jackie Robinson realized this. Born in 1919, he had a desire to be something extraordinary, to rise above the mediocre. He saw people all around him just going through the motions, doing whatever was necessary to survive. His father died when he was a child, and being the youngest of 5 children with a single mom, they moved all over the country. From Georgia to North Carolina to California, anywhere there was work, that's where they went. And Jackie decided then and there that he didn't want to just survive. He wanted to change the world. And more importantly, change the game. He wanted to thrive. So, he became the first African American to play Major League Baseball. Now, what some of you may not realize is that Jackie was born into one of America's most tumultuous eras. He experienced the Great Depression, 2 world wars, and the largest amount of racial tension in American history. When blacks were verbally abused and physically assaulted, Jackie pushed on towards the finish line. He had every excuse imaginable. The world was in turmoil. His family needed him to keep his head out of the sky. He was poor, fatherless, and loathed by the majority of his nation. And that still didn't stop him. He dreamt big dreams, bold dreams, and refused to let the fear of public opinion, opposition, or failure stop him from achieving those goals. And now, his name is spoken alongside Babe Ruth's, and he is remembered as the greatest baseball player of his time. So stop saying, "I wish," and start saying, "I will," because taking that first step towards your dream will be the most grueling step of all. But it will also be the most rewarding. Take that step. Find what lights your fire, and then chase the match. Persistence. Persistence is a refusal to quit. It is looking adversity in the eyes and declaring, "I can." It is an unwillingness to surrender. Persistence is the key to success. Christopher Columbus was considered a madman for thinking the world was round. Walt Disney was fired from his first job for lacking imagination. Elvis was told he'd be better off as a truck driver. Einstein couldn't talk until he was 4. Steve Jobs was fired from his own company. Babe Ruth held the record for strikeouts. Michael Jordan cut from his high school basketball team. The Beatles were told they had no future in show business. Only one of Van Gogh's paintings was sold during his lifetime. Thomas Edison failed 1,000 times before he finally created the light bulb. And a penniless J.K. Rowling wrote the first Harry Potter book on an old typewriter. Success is not about having the means to accomplish your dreams. It's not about resources or popularity. Even talent can be learned. Persistence is something you cannot teach. It is fueled simply by passion. And passion lies in the hands of the dreamers, of the runners. Are you running your race? Have you found what lights your fire? And are you chasing that match? Audie Murphy is arguably the most decorated soldier in American history. Through his bravery, boldness, and astonishing audacity, he proved himself to be the definition of heroism. He was born a few years after Jackie and grew up with some of the same hardships. He had always desired to be a soldier. From the day he dropped out of 5th grade to help his family put food on the table, he longed to serve his country. Orphaned at 16, he was underweight and underage to join the military. Yet he wanted it so badly that he recruited his sister to help him falsify his birth date, just so he could get in. And he was accepted into the army. By the age of 20, he'd become the stuff of legends. The battle Audie is most renowned for was his one-man stand in Holtzwihr, France. It was a frosty January afternoon in 1945 when Audie's company was suddenly attacked by 6 tanks and over 200 German soldiers. Knowing the demise of his company was near, Lieutenant Murphy ordered his men back into the safety of the forest. After exhausting his own ammunition, he began to accept defeat. Things were looking terrible. Now I'll tell you the end of the story. Audie Murphy held his position in Holtzwihr, France, for an entire hour, then led a successful counterattack while wounded and out of ammunition. His victory ultimately led to France's freedom from the Nazi occupation. 200 to 1. A 19-year-old boy holds his position for an hour. Tanks are exploding, bullets whizzing by his ears. The enemy troops are constantly trying to sneak up on his flank, and he stands there exposed because he knew that if he died, all of the men hiding behind him would die as well. Now that's persistence. Imagine the fear that must have been surging through his veins, screaming at him that he was out of his mind, telling him to quit, to give up, to surrender. The dreams he'd had since he was 11 years old were finally coming true, and he was not about to let that go. Where others would have fled in fear, one man had the courage to stand up for his goals. He chased his dreams no matter the consequences. This is the attitude that we must have. Here's a poem by Audie Murphy. Dusty old helmet, rusty old gun, they sit in the corner and wait. 2 souvenirs from the Second World War. They have witnessed the time and the hate. Mute witness to time of much trouble, where kill or be killed was the law. Were these implements used with high honor? What was the glory they saw? Freedom flies in your heart like an eagle. Let it soar on winds high above. Among the spirits of soldiers now sleeping, guard with care and with love. I salute my old friends in the corner. I agree with all they have said. And if the moment of truth comes tomorrow, I'll be free, or I will be dead. Audie Murphy, Jackie Robinson, and so many others were not successful because of what they did, but because of how they did it. They knew the road that would make them stronger, more successful, and just a better person in general would not be an easy one. The truly successful are those who choose to run it anyways. Life, lovely while it lasts, is soon over. Life as we know it, precious and beautiful, ends. The body is put back in the same ground it came from, and the spirit returns to the God who first breathed it. Ecclesiastes. Life is short, so stop wasting time. Chase your ambitions. Life is not a spectator sport, so get in the game. Don't let life's opportunities pass you by. Thank you.